I don't know anything. Oh, how many schools do you have? No idea. That's not my job. How do you play? No idea. Not my job. How do you? No idea. Not my job. Also, I do that at work, but don't tell them. Can we cut that? Cut that. We should have submitted a ticket.
Nope. So before we start talking about, speaking of esports, before we start talking about the games that everybody's playing and the esports arenas and clubs and teams that you're supporting and growing, is it okay if we check in for a minute first on Alien Earth and what we're watching? Because I did watch episode 2 last night, Mark. Episode 1, the setup is fantastic. I love the...
Can I check in real quick? Are you guys, Owen and Matthew, you guys hip to the whole Alien franchise? Like, is that a thing you enjoy? I'm sure that you...
I was told it was going to be a Star Wars talk. So
well,
now...
there is going to be that. We can do that.
Well, now hold on, I'm Googling.
I watched Alien and Aliens and watched the whatever, I think I missed 3. I literally skipped like the good one and watched Alien Resurrection. I was like, okay, I'm done. Then
yeah,
I think
it got kind of bad.
Then they went into, they did Prometheus or something. What was the one that was, what was the most recent reboot of it? Was it Prometheus?
Was it Rami? No.
I think it was Prometheus. It was, and it was like, oh, this is like Alien, but kind of a restart of it, and it was okay, but I feel like that was a decent movie, but I haven't watched anything else. And so you guys are watching Alien Earth. I've heard of this. I've heard that people really are enjoying it, and so I hope you're enjoying it too, Rachel. So that's good.
It is awesome.
Oh,
I watched all the Star Wars movies and TVs because you said that we were going to talk about Star Wars, and I watched it all week,
in 34 hours.
And now we're talking about Alien.
It's just that I got Rachel on this show.
It would have been like there's so much less content if you would have just told me Aliens. That would have been like, it's like 4 movies.
Yeah, it's not as much, not nearly as much stuff for him to watch.
No, I do. Let's bring it back. So, and Alien. So this is all from the episode 11 that just went out. It just posted a couple days ago, and I was listening to it. Because I'm gonna use this joke I don't know how many times because I'm running out of time. I only have a few days left. I have a brain tumor, and I couldn't remember where.
Are we allowed to joke about that too?
Absolutely,
milk that joke.
Oh, thank God!
Absolutely, make it stick out like a thing on your head. It's great.
Yeah. I was trying to remember where we had the conversation about Dystopian versus Utopian, and we were talking about Star Wars and Star Trek, and then it was Emily mentioned Murderbot. I mentioned Alien Earth from because the corporations run everything. There's no more, the government failed and the corporations take over.
And Firefly.
We talked about Firefly a little bit on that, but that's where this kind of whole context for where we wanted to talk about Star Wars and Star Trek came from, and then just kind of veered off into Alien Earth because it was just such a good show.
I can do Firefly too. That's fine.
Oh, Firefly has been a favorite of mine for so long.
I was actually just listening to the theme song in the shower because I have it play on repeat. I love that song. I'm trying to find the music that's just like it. And then they're all like, oh, it's outlaw country. I'm like, that sounds terrible. Then it's like, oh, it's folk music. I'm like, well, that sounds terrible. Nothing is that song.
I was just hoping you weren't listening to the Ballad of Jane in the shower. And now Owen knows that I know this show by throwing out the Ballad of Jane.
Okay, so I just have one thing to say about Alien Earth for now, and then but I do like the idea of the Star Wars, Star Trek, Dystopian, Utopian, which is I think what Mark wants to talk about. But Alien Earth, Mark, what I really appreciated in the first episode was that was not expecting the Wendy and Peter Pan, the Lost Boys thread against this very physically and visually violent imagery as the alien comes back into the space in the storyline. So on episode 1, I'm like, yay, I can watch this at night before going to bed. And then I watched episode 2 before winding down and going to bed last night after I caught up on Discord and the Raindrop account and all of that. It was intense. Does it stay intense for the rest of the first?
Oh, yeah. And it's twists and... I'll say this though, and it's not a spoiler. It's not spoilers. I highly recommend watching it, especially I just made up a new word.
You did.
I just made up a new word. I saw Aliens in the theater. And I was in middle school. Maybe I was in high school. And it wasn't so much of a horror movie as it was a shooter. Like the first one was a horror movie. Alien was a horror movie. And of course, my adolescent self loved Aliens because it was just such a shooter. But they bring some of the same shooter feel back a little bit to Alien Earth, which was kind of a throwback. But what you don't see in any of the other movies that I thought was great in Alien Earth, and you see it from the very beginning, is they went out and collected a lot of other things. And those other things were horrific. Like horrific. And it's...
Never heard of it.
It's great. It's awesome. Owen's gonna have to watch it now.
Can I ask a question to the group?
Mm-hmm.
Mark, do you have any special powers like phenomenon? Does that happen?
Like personally?
Yeah, because of the tumor. Right?
Oh yeah, I was.
Can you make pencils with your hand?
Yeah. Haven't you seen this pen over here? Look at it.
Wow.
You're gonna lose that, It's too bad.
I know. No, I was actually asked if that people thought I would be a better golfer after it came out of my head.
You got to wait until the tumor's the size of a golf ball,
right?
And then you just
it's the size of a quarter.
Control it. You can control. Well, that's close. Control it with your big mind, not your little.
That's
baby.
right. I hope for something good. Not bad.
I'm gonna feel bad because I'm gonna start making fun of that. I'm not doing it anymore. No more tumor jokes.
I have to.
I solemnly swear.
Thursday, I meet with the nurse, and the first question I have is, "Can I keep it?"
You put little googly eyes on it?
I mean, put it in a jar. Can I have it? It's mine. It's in my head.
We have a betting pool on the answer.
How big's the pool?
Just so for two of us.
Anyway.
Okay, so Mark, the thing that we want to talk about, let's talk about this just for a few minutes, because then I do want to just turn this over and listen to what's going on in esports. You take possible issue with the idea that Star Wars is dystopian, and that Star Trek is the utopian if you have to make a binary choice between the two movies and the two opians.
Yes and no. So I don't disagree that Star Trek is utopian. I mean, everything about that is set up to be super utopian. Everybody's, holding hands and going out and exploring space and being friends with everybody until you run into some of the nasty stuff out there. But I think that if you look at Star Wars, you're really focusing on, the rebellion that's trying to overthrow the Empire. But the Empire itself, as evil as it is, looks pretty nice. I don't know.
Wow, he said it, everybody.
Wow.
We all heard that.
I mean, I was watching Andor, the latest season, which I thought was pretty awesome. And those folks look like they're living large. I mean... Just saying.
Okay, for those who are just listening in, when Mark said, I don't know,
I have a brain tumor.
Empire looks pretty okay. Matthew, Owen, and I.
I'm not saying politically it looks okay.
Not coordinated. We all did the big lean back with the sucking air look on our faces.
I mean,
this is what it sounded like.
I'm just
cut
saying.
that. Hey,
you can't do that. It doesn't work.
Okay, so as a recent viewer, Owen, of the Star Wars
9,000 hours of Star Wars.
I've read all the books. Yes.
What's your take?
I never really assumed that either. They don't have to. Okay, it's not binary. It's not dystopian or utopian. I don't know how even anybody would think that it is either, because it's definitely just is the world that we're living in right now a utopia, or is it a dystopia? No, it's just topia. That's just life, right? What really is? Oh, I was going to get philosophical. Hold on, I got to adjust. What is utopia? Because I don't think it's realistically ever going to be achieved. The closest may be because they had the TV show called Utopia and then they canceled it mid-season, and I'm pretty sure they just had to kick everybody off. But that was fun to watch.
He canceled Utopia. Is that a title for your show? I'm just curious.
That's the title of my life. No, I think that. Okay, I'm gonna say it, Mark. I agree with the Empire thing. It's big government in a big area. It's gonna be messy. It's not gonna cover all the bases, but it does provide some sort of society, right? So there are those governing bodies that keep it in place. Just because every single leader happens to be evil doesn't mean that the system's inherently broken. It just means we need to elect better leadership. I'm sorry, they need to elect better leadership. It's not me. Obviously, it's not me.
It's not the system. We just have to try harder.
Well, I mean, let's keep our citizens informed in Star Trek Wars, whatever. Keep our citizens informed. Like, try and do better for everybody. And if everyone tries to make everything better, then everything's going to get better. If you have people that are in power that want to take power away from people, man, I'm seriously, I'm talking about Star Wars. I promise. You have someone that takes the power away from people, they are going to be upset, and you're not building towards that utopia. You're building towards, I guess, dystopia, but more like unorganized.
Tatooine,
wherever. Yeah. Anyway,
Matthew, get us, Matthew. What do you think?
Okay, so I will take your premise, and I will try to see what you're trying to say. The premise is, of course, it is a binary choice according to this premise, so we have to decide between the two. Is one a utopia, and is the other one a dystopia because of that premise? So let's go ahead and go with that. The obvious choice is usually, from most people's point of view, will be, well, obviously the one with the higher amount of structure, the higher, because, and while we might say maybe the Old Republic had a high amount of structure, let's ignore that for a moment, because most of the canon of Star Wars is in after the fall of the High Republic. So you have the Empire and I have all that. So let's talk about that time versus generally the time of the Federation and various things in Star Trek, and why. And so that would be, there is more of a structure there for that one. And is the structure more utopia like? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to make that argument here. I will say that yes, it does seem like the Empire is bad, because pretty much everything they do is, one way or another, in order to increase their size and power, and in order to do that, they do bad things to lots of people. And let's just put it this way: the people who they're doing these bad things to are definitely not in a utopia. They are definitely being very much, squashed and destroyed, or mined to death, or abused, or slave labor, or whatever the case is. They are being taken into this place of where they are being used in order to make maybe what you might want to call their own, trying to make their own utopia with this authoritarian state. But let's look at the other side just a little bit here. In Star Trek, there's a lot of, well, we made these rules and we're going to make these rules and we're going to follow them. We have this prime directive which we break all the time, this rule they're not supposed to do, and we're going to make sure that we don't go to war, but we're at war with the Klingons, and we're at war with the Romulans, we're at war with everybody. Not
the Ferengis, though.
No. There's been a war of the Ferengis forever, I believe. It's just like a standing, like, whatever. The thing about the Star Trek, though, is by design, by Gene Roddenberry's design, it is an ideal, and then constantly challenging those ideals with different situations, different ways of people looking at it, people, and constantly putting up these big old boulders and rolling them down the hill toward what you think is the right thing. And what is the right thing? And you got the three different people on the classic Trek, which is Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, which were the three different pieces of your psychology, which were like, whether or not you're kind of the bold action man, the logical reason, and the person who's very, very into his emotions. So you had those three different people who were able to take and try to break apart this thing, and they're internally squabbling about the right thing to do in all the situations. And in the end, they figure out a solution to the problem. In the original design of Star Trek, it was designed to be bottle episodes. Everything is, you're going to watch this thing, you're going to have this one idea of what things should be, you have this obstacle you're going to have to deal with, you have to figure out how to get around the obstacle. Sometimes they figure out how to get around it, sometimes they leave and a bad thing has happened, and like, well, that's just how it is. And no, there's a problem there as well if you're looking at the utopia side of things there, because it's clearly, they don't have the answers to all the problems. And they don't have all the ways to fix everything. They don't have, and they are a mishmash of everybody gets to do whatever they want to do. They are, sure, there's a federation where it's like, hey, you know what? If you're joining our federation, we're going to help you. You're going to help us, right? We're going to be helpful with each other. We're going to follow a couple rules, and we're not going to blow up other people's planets. Yeah, Death Star. Okay, fine. We're not going to do that. But Does that exist in Star Wars? I know. Let's talk Star Wars for a little bit here. Star Wars, let's go back to the Old Republic, is actually what you might consider more of a utopia back then. The problem with that is that it's a utopia that is basically governed by a Senate that is pretty useless, and a and a military army, essentially, or wing in the Jedi. And the Jedi, unfortunately, are so naive and so stuck up their own butts that they actually cause their own problems in the end. And so it's absolutely not, neither of them are utopias. They're both dystopias, just to tell you. That's the answer.
Oh, so Mark, how do we do this? We're like, we'll just have a conversation. So we started with philosophy from Owen, right? Where we settled in.
Alderaan was like, what, 2 billion people in the population of the entire universe who, right. Like, they're casualties. It happens.
Yeah. So then we move from philosophy to Matthew, then like throwing in the psychology. The guests that we have on this toddler podcast are an embarrassment of riches every single episode.
I want to throw a bonus round out here that I didn't brief anybody for. Okay. Same question. Because this one is, I've been thinking about this for an entire week. Dune.
Oh, Utopia, obviously. Duh.
Well, I mean, seriously.
I'm kidding.
So seriously, no, I mean, if you think about it, like those societies aren't in disarray. I mean, a little bit they are, but it could be like
the Harkonnens. They're great people, I hear.
They're just because just because you're a bad person,
doesn't mean your society is not utopian.
Yeah.
Well, except like all the bad, like paint. You know what? I don't.
It's a judgment. Man. It's also perspective.
Okay, right? I have not watched the most recent Dune, but I've read the book a long time ago, and I watched the '80s version
as a kid.
The '80s version is a wonderful thing, by the way.
That's my favorite.
It is a wonderful.
That's my favorite.
It's a wonderful version of that. But also, I remember reading the books, and so the House Harkonnen and the House, I forget the name of the other house. They're both been given a permission to mine the spice from this planet, and they're both fighting over the rights of the land, of the spice in the land. And basically, the Harkonnens are just doing nasty things in order to win. So this is just a corporate takeover kind of logic,
right?
Here, right?
But the point I'm getting at is, like, if you were part of House Atreides, right, and you weren't part of the mining, like you just lived on the planet,
mm-hmm,
it looked pretty awesome. Like it looked great.
Wait
like
a
beautiful planet, and you just like.
Except for you're stuck on a planet that's absolutely horrible to live in.
Before they had to move. Before they had to move to Arrakis, they had their own planet.
Ignorance is like bliss. I give you that. Sure.
And there's this huge history of like thousands and thousands of years that goes back about when there was artificial intelligence and how it almost killed everybody, and how that's been outlawed. There's actually no computers in the current version of what we see in the theater now. That's why the guy.
They stole that from Warhammer.
I did try to play Warhammer. I didn't get too far in that one. But anyway, I just wanted to throw it out there, but apparently I'm crazy.
So that we also get to talk esports this evening, because this could actually continue for another hour, and I'd be totally there for it.
Cool.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to call April Murdoch in after listening to this episode, and let April make the call on Dune.
Ooh.
And loop it back to the episode, the no cheese episode with April, because I think there's a good Dune segment in there, Mark.
We did talk about Dune quite a bit.
I wonder who keeps bringing Dune up, Mark. I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is that my favorite version of it was the
Harkonnen? Are you Mark Harkonnen?
It's the 80s one. With
the
real, it had Sting in it.
It did.
The real winner of that whole thing is the Spacers Guild, because they're like, I don't care, like you're head of whatever house, you're dead. That's it.
And in that version, they look like weird walruses.
Yeah, they were giant whales of some kind.
Yeah,
that's
space
like
whales.
Me.
Gotta love your space whales.
Yeah, that was who did that one? It was the guy who did
Tom Clancy.
Twin Peaks. It was Tom Clancy. Yeah. No, who did Twin Peaks?
Lynch.
Yeah, it was the David Lynch.
Peter.
It was the David Lynch version, yeah. So much inner dialogue. So much inner monologue and dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like, stop talking to yourself. But
put your hand in the box.
Okay. Sorry.
With your hand in the box. You may not touch the box. You're going to drive the box. Make sure you don't even think about it. Make sure for this. I love that movie. It's great.
Matthew's going to get hired based on that performance in episode 13.
All right, should we actually get to our topic tonight?
So here, I have a challenge to launch into it. So what I want at some point during this conversation, I don't know if we just flip a coin on who wants to tell us their esports story first.
It's an e-story, sure.
Or an e-story. But I do think like if Owen gets bonus points if he weaves philosophy into esports, and Matthew gets bonus points if he weaves psychology into esports. Take it away, gentlemen.
Matt, go first. Boom. Psychology.